Well, you know we gotta do it. We gotta do a 0 to 60. We're in unbridled, we're stopped. Let's see what this sounds like. And I wanted to not like this. I wanted to not like this so much because it has a Mustang badge on it. I'm Cameron, this is Carsideration, and today we have a 2021 Mustang Mach-E. So before I get started on this review, I wanted to give a huge shout out to City Ford here in Columbia City, Indiana, for letting me take this out today and take you guys through it, show you the exterior, the interior, driving reaction. This is going to be my first time ever driving an electric vehicle, so I am pretty excited. I have a lot of thoughts in my mind. I have no idea how it's going to be, so with that being said, let's get to it. So as always, a few quick stats on the Mustang Mach-E. So the Mustang Mach-E has 4 trim levels. Technically, you could say 5 or 6. I personally never count first editions as trim levels, although it is an option on their website. But I go off the 4 trim levels of Select, California Route 1 Premium, which we have today, and then the GT, and then you have the GT Performance as well. You have 2 battery options, standard range and extended range. As far as drivetrain goes, you can get them in rear wheel drive, can never say that right, or electronic all-wheel drive. Torque figures range from 317 foot-pounds of torque to 428 foot-pounds of torque. And then when you get up to the GT trim levels, you can get up to 600 foot-pounds of torque or 634 foot-pounds of torque in the GT Performance. Ranges from 211 miles on the low end, and then Ford claims that the GT Performance will get up to 235 miles of range. 0 to 60 times also, depending on the drivetrain option you go with and the battery and the trim level. They range from anywhere from 3.5 seconds all the way to 6.1 seconds. So with that being said, a little brief overview of the trim level options and horsepower figures, torque range and all that. This Premium should do 0 to 60 in about 4.8 seconds. This does have the all-wheel drive and the extended range battery pack, so it should be getting around 300 miles of range. I'm gonna say probably more like 270 depending on how you drive it. It has 346 horsepower and 428 foot-pounds of torque. So interesting, every Mach-E only comes with 1 key. It's nothing fancy, has a little Mustang logo on there, because Ford is hoping that your second key will be your phone. So I downloaded the Ford Pass app is what I think it's called. It's easy to set up. Scan the inside of your door, has a little barcode there. Set it up. Now I have set everything up so far, but nothing is really working for me as of right now. You can control the windows up and down from right here, but for right now, I don't know if it's just maybe my Bluetooth isn't wanting to connect. Oh, there we go. It worked, finally. So let's roll these windows up. Windows up, hold it down. Awesome. Now, trunk. Go to the trunk. You can, of course, wave your foot if you want, or if you want to control it from your app, hold that button down. It opens up. Very nice and convenient. So a quick exterior walk around of the Mach-E here. Couldn't really find any Easter eggs for you guys, but the one thing that I did notice is you do have a little Mustang emblem there in the headlights. Now you can, if you look hard enough, I guess you could say that this does have some Mustang design cues. They've hit a lot of the body work with some black plastic that looks really good. The bonnet, the hood's a little bit longer. Kind of like a Mustang, I guess, if you want to say. It's a little bit of a stretch. But one thing, if you notice, they've hid the roof line really well with the black plastic there. I personally think it might look even better if they just color matched everything. The rear of this, I actually really like it, but I just kind of wish this may have been the same color. Now I understand they're trying to go off the design of a Mustang and things like that, so they're trying to hide the body lines, which they did a really good job of. Another little Mustang design cue, if you look at it, it's going to be the rear here, and you have these arches on the fenders. Looks nice. I do like it. Like how they have integrated the Mustang style design taillights. And while we're back here, let's take a look at them real quick. It still does have that sequential blinker like the Mustangs do. It's a little quick. I kind of would prefer it to be a little bit slower, but that's just my personal taste. So let's check out the trunk real quick. Let's see if this works. It did. Nice. Oh, look at that. This little cargo net fell. Let's put this up here. It's nice and convenient. Now, the only other Easter egg I could find is there's also another little Mustang logo right there. Now, coming to the trunk, you have your charging cable and things like that. Lifting this up, there's just your fix-a-flat pretty much. Now, the cool thing is with this, you can have it rest high right here, or if you need a little bit extra room, you can slide it down a little bit just to give you, how much would that be? Maybe an extra 2 inches of storage options. Pretty nice. Making our way to the front, you have your charger, and Ford thinks they're funny. It says horsepower in there. That is actually pretty funny. I do like that. Coming around to the front looks really good, I think, honestly. Especially for electric vehicles, it's so weird not seeing a grille essentially or anything like that, but you do have an active grille shutter here, so pretty cool. And let's check out these headlights real quick. Headlights are very cool. Nice LEDs. And then let's check out the blinkers on the front. Again, blinkers on the front look really cool. I do really like this headlight design. Very sleek and aggressive. And while we're at the front here, let's take a look under here. So, kind of funny, in the front here, you have some cup holders and a drain plug. Maybe they're thinking a lot of people are going to go tailgating with this. I'm not so sure. And then, well, you can see the little logo here of the guy escaping the trunk. I don't know what person can fit in here, but if you do get trapped in here, there is your trunk release escape button. So coming to the wheels, these wheels aren't bad looking by any means. I think there could have been a cooler, more futuristic or aerodynamic wheel design that definitely would have went a long way with this, but it's a good enough wheel option. Tire size on this one is a 225/55/19. It's a Michelin Primacy all season. It's a pretty darn good tire, generally speaking. Now, one thing to consider about electric vehicles is they are very heavy. This weighs about 4,800 pounds. And to put that into perspective, F-150s weigh anywhere between 4,200 pounds and 5,000 pounds. So this is definitely a heavy vehicle. Now, depending on where you live in the United States, if you live closer to the ocean, generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, you're not going to get quite the mileage that someone would get in Indiana, let's say. The road surfaces down there generally are more coarse because of the materials used, while in the Midwest and up north, the road surfaces are generally a lot smoother. So with that being said, just keep in mind that no matter where you're at in the country, you're probably going to be replacing tires a lot more often. And it's nothing against the tires or anything like that. It's just that these vehicles are very heavy and it's just something to consider. So getting into the Mach-E, you can simply walk up, press this button here, door is going to open up, and you can't pinch your fingers or anything like that because I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. There is a little kickstand right there. There you go. Then you can shut it. Same thing on the rear. Pop this open. It's not going to pinch your fingers no matter how hard you push on it. So starting on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you have all your normal controls, your door latch, windows, mirror adjustments, child lock, lock, unlock. You have your light settings down here. Left side of the steering wheel, you have your cruise control settings. On the right side, you of course have your volume and things like that. Pretty responsive. Change your radio stations, all of that. Nothing out of the ordinary. Don't freak out if you're watching this. You're like, what are those pink flashing lights? It's only visible on camera, but what this is for is Ford is launching the active driver assist in the third quarter of 2021. So this is going to allow hands-free driving on the highway. So what this is pretty much doing, to my understanding, is it's monitoring your eyes to make sure that you are still looking ahead of you and paying attention to the road, but it will give you the ability to drive hands-free if you choose to purchase the upgrade. Now this screen here is really nice. I'm glad Ford decided to put this in. I know Tesla does not have this, and I can only imagine how difficult and probably unnatural it is to glance over to the main screen here to look at your speed. I'm glad they threw that in there as an option. It's just a little more practical. Now coming down to the center here, you do have a wireless charging pad. Let's throw my phone on there, see if it works. Sure does. And cup holders. And you also have some storage right down here. So plenty of storage options so far. Little interesting thing on here. This is obviously your drive mode selector, and you find in most Fords now. But when you go to park, let's go to drive real quick. You can still spin it past drive and past park, which is kind of odd. I never noticed that before. Obviously, just your armrest, nothing crazy. But you do get quite a bit of storage options down here as well. Little 12-volt outlet. Nothing too fancy. The main thing that dominates the whole interior is this 15.5-inch touchscreen. And my favorite thing is that Ford added a volume knob here. I guess with focus groups and everything, everyone said they still wanted a volume knob. So it's there and it's in a touchscreen. It's kind of cool. Now, this is pretty responsive. I'm not going to say it's the best. But so far I've been playing around with it for a little bit, and I don't think it's all that user friendly. Now the good thing about this is this car can receive over-the-air updates. So maybe they'll make a software program change. It's just a little confusing, I guess. Maybe it's just because I haven't been playing around with it long enough. There is a lot of things on here, and I'm not going to go over those in detail because it is probably pretty boring to watch, not going to lie. But a few things I do like: you have 3 driving modes, and as you drive, a graphic comes up on this screen and it changes. But you can turn one pedal driving off. I'm going to leave it on for now to see how I like it. Propulsion sound is off. 360-degree camera here. Now this is a little grainy. I don't think it's like a huge turn off or anything like that. And then of course your 360-degree camera up here that you can zoom in on, move around, kind of cool. Let's exit out of there. And then you go to driver assistance. Driver assistance, you initially look here, you go, oh, okay, there's only a few options, only 2. Hit additional settings, and there is more than a few options in here. I thought this was funny. You click vehicle, you go down to your wipers. I don't know, I'm immature, so I found this really funny. You click wipers, and you have a courtesy wipe. Because you can never have enough courtesy wipes. Now moving on up to here, nothing out of the ordinary. Your general reading lights, things like that. Sunglass holder, pretty soft. I don't think that's going to scratch your lenses or anything like that. I know sometimes you get in cars and it's just hard plastic in here that's probably going to scratch your sunglass lenses. And then you of course have your massive panoramic roof that I like. There is no option for a sunshade or anything like that I've seen, but I really like them. It just brings in so much more light into this interior. And this interior so far, pretty impressed with. Seats are fairly comfortable, and the leather feels a little more premium than other Ford models that I've recently been in. So I am liking that. This armrest is a little hard, and as we drive, we'll see if this annoys my elbow or anything like that. Okay, so before we get driving in this real quick, I'm gonna do something a little bit different at the end of this video. I'm going to do a little rant on the branding of this, and I want to do it because I want to get your guys' opinion. I know when Ford first released this, it was a big uproar about it being called the Mustang, and it still hasn't sat well with me, so I just wanted to do a little rant. I wanted to see what you guys think of the Mustang branding on this as well. So with that being said, let's take this out for a drive. Let's put this thing into drive. Let's make sure I have the... I want to try the one pedal driving here real quick. One pedal drive is on. Propulsion sound is off. Maybe some of you guys watching this are like me and are interested in electric vehicles but have never driven one before. As I said, I've never driven one, so this is going to be very interesting. So the one pedal driving is very noticeable as soon as you get in. Right now I'm going 15 miles an hour. I'm going to let off. And we are at 0, just like that. Very bizarre. Let's turn it off and see how it feels then. Yeah, turning it off with the touch of that screen, just like a normal car, but I'm gonna keep it on The other thing I'm really interested to see is the road noise on this, especially with no propulsion or anything turned on, and having no engine to mask the sound of the tires and the bumps and things like that. So cruising at 55 miles an hour, there's absolutely no road noise. The only thing you hear is wind. It's so quiet in here. I was not expecting it to be this quiet. Now, we're in unbridled mode right now, and this thing wants to change directions instantly. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Let's see, this feels like 0 to 60. Okay. It's not crazy fast, but that feels good. Now, the one thing I want to try, let's do another 0 to 60. And let's turn on the propulsion sound. Let's listen for the propulsion sound. Okay, I don't like the propulsion sound. It sounds like a little V6 is in the back over there. That's not right. I feel like Ford could have had a lot of fun with this. They could have made a futuristic like Jetson sound or something like that. Little things like that I think could make this just that much better. But I feel like that's so easy with over-the-air updates on this. All they have to do is just do a software update and give you multiple propulsion sounds to choose from. Let's do like a 20 roll. We're in unbridled again, 20 roll. Oh, so much instant torque. That's awesome. And then the regenerative braking again, you let off, and it's just, whoa. This back road, as you can probably hear my little camera rattling around, it's soaking up these bumps amazing. It's just like, it's floating. It's not too harsh. And the car is so stable. There's absolutely no body roll, I feel like. Now, changing between drive modes here, haven't really noticed a massive difference between anything, except the steering feel. I feel like from engaged to unbridled, the steering definitely feels heavier to me, and it definitely wants to change direction a little bit quicker. Now, with this being an electric car, obviously the center of gravity is so low on this, it just wants to change direction so quick. You know, does this have the supercharging system that Tesla does? No, but Ford is claiming that, you know, it still has the largest charging network in North America because they're using third-party, I guess you could say, suppliers or third-party charging networks. You know, if you have a 120 volt outlet, you'll get about 30 miles per night. But if you have a 240 volt outlet, you'll get up to about 80% battery life over the course of the night. Now, if it's my understanding is correct, only 80% of the battery usage is actual usable energy. So 80% charge is essentially a full charge. And if you're driving around, you know, if you're just daily driving this to work and everything like that, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with the charging. Ooh, those brakes. I just touched the brake for the first time and that brake is touchy. Wow. Let's try this turning radius. There's no one behind me. We'll swing out a little bit. A lot tighter than I thought. Didn't think it was gonna do all that well, but not too bad. Okay, finally we have some turns here. So it's in unbridled. Let's see how it handles in a corner if you throw it in there. Look through it, no one's coming, cool. Okay, that's a pretty gravelly corner, and this thing, you can kind of feel the traction control kick in, and it just stuck. Okay, here's one more. We can see through the corner, there's no one coming. Let's just see if we can hold it, and this is like a 90 at 30 miles an hour. All right, we went down to 25. It is weird because as soon as you let off the brake, or as soon as you let off the throttle with this one pedal driving, it's like essentially braking. But going around like almost a 90-degree corner at 25 miles an hour. There's absolutely no body roll. The only reason why the tires slipped a little bit is because there's a little bit of gravel there. And even then you can feel the traction control and everything kicking in. It's just a total different driving experience to what I'm used to. And it's crazy to think, you know, how much cargo room and stuff you have, how much headroom you have in here. Again, as I always say in my videos, I'm about, you know, 5'8", maybe 5'9" on a good day. So much headroom. You can be 6'4" and fit in here just fine. You can probably be 7 foot and fit in here just fine. So there's only 2 more things I really wanted to touch on. One thing that I forgot to mention in the exterior review of the vehicle, there is not a single Ford badge that I can find on here. Exterior wise, it's all Mustang. Interior, it's all Mustang. The only time it really says Ford is when it first loads up, and even then it's mostly a Mustang, you know, display. I really did not want to like this vehicle because of what Ford did with the Mustang name. I do not agree with Ford calling this a Mustang. While I can see how it has some similar handling characteristics and it does feel very sporty, I just feel like Ford made everybody like swallow this pill that no one really wanted to swallow. Like, we're using a Mustang, accept it, we're putting a Mustang badge on it, and it's going to be branded as a Mustang. And you know, Ford's saying that they have to go with one of their strongest brands to compete with Tesla. I don't think that's necessarily true, because the average EV buyer does not care whether it's a Mustang or a Tesla. In my opinion, they're going to look at just like what any other car purchaser is going to look at. Like, do I like the exterior? Do I like the interior? Do I like the materials in the interior? How do I like the wheels? You know, for an EV, what's my range? What's my charging network like? How much charge can I get overnight? How much driving do I do? Like, those are the factors that you are considering when you're buying a vehicle, not if it's a Mustang or if it's a Tesla. And I wish they didn't alienate one of their largest brands. You know, I'm sure there's some Mustang owners that are like, oh yeah, that's cool, it's an electric Mustang. But I don't think that's cool. Like, parking this next to a GT350 or GT350R or just a GT or Mach-1, I think it's like almost disrespectful in a way. Imagine if Chevy said, you know what, we're gonna make a Corvette and a Camaro, and then all of a sudden they come out and it's an EV SUV crossover. That's a slap in the face. Maybe I'm way off and maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think what vehicle manufacturers fail to realize is they're not only competing with Tesla. Like, so much of what Tesla has built is because of Elon Musk. He's a crazy CEO, love him or hate him. He's unapologetic. He says what he wants to say. He says what's on his mind or tweets what's on his mind. And I think that's part of the allure of buying a Tesla. You're part of this like renegade brand type CEO that do not care about anything. He's gonna say what he wants to say, do what he wants to do, design what he wants to design, and if you don't like the Cybertruck, then pound sand. People are gonna buy it regardless, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else. And I kind of like that attitude. You know, I feel like Ford is like, oh, I don't want to step on too many toes and make a too crazy vehicle design, and what if they don't like it, so let's just throw a Mustang badge on it. And it's not a Mustang. Like, I'm sorry, it handles amazing. The ride quality it is an amazing vehicle, and I think Ford could have done just as good of a job if they just created a new brand called the Mach-E that would have paid its respects to, you know, what it's based off of, a Mustang Mach-1 or however they want to brand it. I just feel like no matter how much Ford does branding as far as Mustang goes, this is never going to be accepted as a Mustang. Other than that, I want one. Like, I want this to daily drive around. Like, why not? It's amazing. The ride quality is good. The cabin's quiet. The infotainment screen's awesome. It's relatively quick. I can only imagine what a GT performance would be like. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review today. And if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that subscribe button. You can hit the like button if you want to. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. And until next time, stay safe.